Hey gamers, welcome back to another Minecraft video. I hope that everybody is doing absolutely fantastic today. In today's video, I'm going to be bringing you guys a Minecraft Bedrock farm, which is going to be the melon and pumpkin farm. So let's go ahead and take a look at everything that we will need for this farm and start to build it. Now, inside of this chest, I do have everything that you will need in order to start building this farm. You will both need the melon and pumpkin seeds. You can't just have one or the other. In order to get the most effective and efficient production rates from this specific farm, you do have to use both of the seeds in this farm for melon and pumpkins. You can't just do one or the other like you can in some of my other videos. So just definitely be aware of that. Now, everything on the right hand side, so this stuff over here, this is going to be just my unloading station. So that's why I had it separately, because maybe you want to do something different and you don't necessarily want this unloading station at your specific farm, or maybe you want to make it bigger than what I'm going to make it. So this is everything that you will need. Let's go ahead and build it step by step. Now, before we get started building, this farm does take up a 9x9 area, and then when we put in our glass a little bit later, it takes up a little bit more, so a 10x10 area. So the first thing that we're going to do is actually just dig out 9. So we got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, and then just go ahead and replace those all with your redstone blocks. Now this is what's going to power our powered rails here, and I actually like to go up by 5, and then you need to go up by 2 more on this side, and we're actually going to go up 1 more because eventually we'll have it go off to our collection chamber, and then we're going to go 2 this way. So we're going to go 2 and then just start 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1, 2, and then back, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then we're just going to continue to repeat this pattern all the way down. And this is what it should look like when you are all done with the zigzag of the rails. The last thing we're going to do is I'm just going to use a redstone block right here, put that down with a powered rail on the top of it, and then we're just going to grab our blocks, and I'm just going to put one right here. This will allow the minecart to hit this block and then go right back down the exact same path all the way to the drop-off chamber. If you don't want to use a redstone block there, that's fine. You could actually just put a lever on this block and then power it, and that will power this rail right here, and that's all you need to do. You don't have to put that redstone block down there if you don't want to. Completely up to you. Now moving on, start in the corner, and this is where our dirt level is going to go, but we can't do that in order, or at least the way that I normally build this on the Java edition, because in Bedrock, I can't figure out how to actually crawl. I don't think you can. So this is the level that we need to be building at. So we're going to start with this one with an observer facing downward, looking at this block right here. And then so every other is going to be a regular block for a temporary block, and then an observer facing downward. So you should have on the first row, it should be the first one at this block looking down, and this one. And then on the next row, it's going to be the opposite. And then it's going to be the opposite. So you're going to be making a checkerboard pattern, basically the best that you possibly can. So this is what it would look like. So if we just put some blocks in here like this on all the sides, we need to make sure that they are facing downwards though. And then you're going to continue to do that along here. And then I'm just going to go ahead and finish this up real quick. And this is what it should look like when you're all done. Just make sure that the red side of it and is facing upwards or towards you, and that the faces are actually all facing downwards, exactly how you see it here on the screen. Now what you can do is go ahead and remove all of your temporary blocks, and pretty much in all of the empty spaces, we are going to be putting a piston facing downward, and I'll show you exactly how we're going to do that. So we're just going to delete all of these. And then we can go to the bottom of the farm and grab our pistons, and then just go ahead and walk along all of this. And this is going to be a little bit easier now that everything is kind of in place. And then just go ahead and fill in all of the gaps. Now the one that you don't need is the very center of the farm, which should be this one right here. So you don't need anything right there, so you can actually go ahead and skip that. It's 4 from every side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. And then just go ahead and finish the rest of this up. And this is what it should look like from the bottom. So all the pistons are facing downward, and this is what it should look like on the top. So you've created a nice checkerboard pattern. Now here in the very middle, what I like to do is put some kind of a light source so that the farm actually stays nice and lit in the interior of the farm. And there you go. And then what we can do is replace all of this with our dirt. Now you're gonna have to do this in rows, so just keep this in mind. And we're gonna go every other, so you're gonna grab your hoe, and then you're also gonna need your melon and also your pumpkin seeds as well. So you're gonna go this one, I'm gonna start with a melon, and you're gonna do every other, or just basically below each of the observers. And again, I'm gonna do the melons here. Hopefully I can do this fast enough. And then the next row, you're going to do the opposite. We're going to line this all with dirt, and then it's going to be, again, everything with the observer, or with the observers facing downward. And then this one is going to be the pumpkin. So pumpkin, 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 pumpkin. And then the next row is going to be the same as the first one. Again, you're creating another checkerboard pattern. And then melon, 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 melon. And then we got pumpkin, 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 pumpkin. Again, they're going to be just right below the observers. And the only one you don't need to put anything in is going to be the very center, because this block will actually be something a little bit different. So I'll explain how to do that real quick. So you're going to grab your slab, and you're going to put that right there. And that's where your slab is going to go. Then you can actually just go ahead and fill all of this in around it. And then what you're going to do is you're going to fill this in with your bucket of water. Right there. Make sure that you're actually clicking one of the blocks around it and not the slabs, so that you don't accidentally waterlog it the wrong way. The rails shouldn't delete, but at least they don't in Java. And then we can finish up the repeating process of this. Again, the first one will be the melon seeds. We got melon, melon, and then we can't put anything in the very middle because that's water. And then the next row will be the pumpkin. And there we go, everything is done. Now, instead of having the melons here, if you want to have more pumpkins, then you can reverse what I've done, and you can actually do the five of them in a row, which is where I've actually planted my melons. Then you could do pumpkins. But the reason that I do more melons is because you only get melon slices from this farm, and then you have to craft them into melons, whereas you get a whole pumpkin. So you should be getting more melons or more pumpkins anyway, just because you don't have to craft them into pumpkins. But you can do whatever you want with your farm, or you could have two of these. One could be more of the melons, and then you could have another one that has just more of the pumpkins. Completely up to you. Now, at this point in time, what I like to do is use my glass and then go ahead and surround the farm so that nothing in the interior of the farm escapes. And this will take about 10 minutes or so for the entire farm to grow up. So this is why we kind of want to get the melon and pumpkin seeds kind of planted as soon as we possibly can, because this will take a little bit of time for everything to go ahead and produce itself. Now from here, what you want to do is go above the farm. We're going to grab a solid block and then our redstone. And everywhere that you have an observer, you're going to put a block, a solid block. So like a piece of glass wouldn't necessarily work. So I'm just going to go ahead and completely fill this in. And then everywhere where there is a piston, we're going to put redstone dust down here. And then that will allow basically, so if this one were to fire, then all these around it would fire. So these four also would fire. So you're going to get like 5 pistons at a time firing, and that's okay. You can hear that we actually already got one that fired somewhere down there. So there was an update in the stem. And then we're just going to go ahead and finish up placing all of our stone. And you don't have to just use the smooth stone that I'm using. It could be just regular stone. It could be cobblestone. Really, whatever you have access to. It could be wood. And continue to there. Now, if you want to put lights up above here, you can definitely go ahead and do that. Make sure that we got all of our redstone dust in place, and it looks like we do. Fantastic. So if you want to put more lights up here, you know, you could put one like over there, over there. You could put one in kind of the opposite corners, kind of like, it just really depends on what you want to do. And then that way that's nice and lit up on top, so nothing spawns up there, because things could technically spawn on these full blocks right here. But it's not necessary if you're building something over the top of it. So let's go ahead and go to the other side, which will be over here, and we're going to do the unloading system real quickly. So I'm just going to go ahead and bring this around just like this, and then I'm going to do one more, and then this is where our chest is going to go. So let's go ahead and grab everything for this specific portion of it. So we're going to put a double chest here, and then we're going to put a hopper into the chest, and we're just going to put that, we'll just put that one right there. Behind the hopper, facing away but not into the chest, you're just going to put a comparator with a block there, with a torch on the top, and then you want to put a block here and a block there, and then put a redstone dust there, and then all you need to do is grab your powered rails and then put it there. So what that's going to do is it's going to be powered now because a minecart won't have anything currently in there. And when it has something in it, it will come back to the station, and this will unpower that powered rail, and then the hopper minecart will get stuck there for just a moment and allow everything that it has inside of it to be emptied into the hopper and then ultimately into the chest. And then after it's completely emptied, it will go back down the rail system again. So it makes it really easy to go ahead and just collect everything. So we can go ahead and do that now. Now, if you want to go ahead and put a lever on this, you could go ahead and do that as an additional option. So like say right here, and then that would unpower it and depower it, so that way you can not have this minecart running 24/7. So only when you're in this area, you can come over, you know, flick the lever on, and then the minecart will actually be able to go again. So, or you could just let it run its entire time. It's completely up to you. But this is kind of a nice little extra feature while everything is growing in our farm. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and I'll do a random tick speed update so that things can grow a little bit faster. And things will actually, you'll start seeing a lot more pistons firing this way. But you can kind of see, if you look at it closely enough, that there's like groups of pistons that basically get this thing to grow. And let's go ahead and turn this back on so the minecart goes back and collects everything. And you can see like this one hasn't really grown that much yet, and it is kind of loud, so I do apologize for that. But you are getting like groups of pistons firing at a time depending on which redstone or which observer is detecting the growth. So now we can actually go ahead and bring that back down a little bit so it's not quite as fast, because most of that stuff is completely grown. Obviously this one right here isn't grown. And then there's one over here in this corner, and also the one right there. And I think that looks like that's about it. That isn't full grown. This one, like, it might not quite be 100% full grown either. And then there's one right there. But there's a lot of melon pumpkins, and like I said, it does take about 10 minutes or so in order for it to get completely all grown up. And what we should see is once these melons get dropped off, this minecart will detect that there's nothing in there by the comparator that we have on the hopper system, and then it will power everything up again, and the minecart goes back on its way, just like you saw. And then everything inside of the farm will actually start to get picked up, as long as there is enough room inside of that hopper minecart, and then it will come back and bounce off that back end stone, or the back stone over there, and then come back around the entire system again, collecting anything that it had missed along the first time, and then go ahead and drop everything off right here, and then ultimately dump it into this chest right here. And there we go. That is everything, guys. So if you guys want a nice melon and pumpkin farm for your Bedrock edition, this is all you really need to do. Copy this one. Pretty easy. It doesn't take very long to build in survival. It's honestly, it's the more time that you're going to be waiting for it to grow than anything else. But if you guys enjoyed the video and found it helpful in any way, make sure that you guys go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe down below. It would help me out a lot and is greatly appreciated. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.